Hi, my name is Theo. He is Ruby. This little guy here is Aster. And this is Coding Cuy.
In the beginning I have installed a site called Drupal site, but I will create a new site that we will be using during this course. I have received a comment that says that we should focus on theming, and theming is one of my specialties. So I will create some theme. Let me start creating the project. I will create a Coding Cuy site. What we're intending here is create a site in Drupal 10 and then add a theme that will work with Webpack. Webpack will process our CSS and will convert it in CSS. Then we can import this. There's another approach in Drupal that is creating individual component twig templates. For the beginning, I will be creating this that involves the majority of the use cases that maybe YouTube user following this course could desire. I have installed here this site. You can click here and you have the site. Coding Cuy, Drush, Ole. And we have here our admin, and I will change it to something I will remember. What I want now is introduce you to the elements that this environment has. Let me open Visual Code for this. Okay, we have opened this project. In the past I've said, even if it says that it's Drupal 9, it is Drupal 10. How do I know this? Because if I inspect here in Composer, I will see that require has the Drupal 10 version. This file, composer.json, is maybe the most important file in projects because it composes all our projects getting all the required stuff. I think the first important stuff here is the repositories, where we are telling Composer that it will be using other repository origins. In this case, it will use Drupal packages origin. That's why you can require then a Drupal Composer, a Drupal core Composer scaffold, and all stuff from Drupal. Then in the future, if we run Composer install with Drupal repository, we will be adding some models that are stored here. Then we have the required key. In this key, we have the dependencies that this project has. In this case, we are installing Drush, which will allow us to run console commands, as I showed before. And in this case, we have none other projects installed yet, so we only have the Composer installers and the core required projects. In this case, since we have installed Drupal using Fin, we have this conflict key that tells Composer not to download, not to use Drupal project because it has the scaffold that includes this one. Then in minimum stability, you are setting what is the minimum stability that we require on a project. Projects can come from Packagist, which is a global repository of PHP projects, and they can come from this repository that we have seen is added at the top. Then this prefers table will say, Composer, we prefer stable projects. That's why if we, for example, install a project, it will install by default the stable project. In this part, we are setting the allow plugins. This is a security measure that Composer implements because plugins are special events that happen during the Composer execution. Well, then for extra, we have this location of our web root. If we check here, we have the web root that has the code that we need for Drupal, for run Drupal, and the vendor in a separate folder. This is because of this configuration here. Then we are setting installer paths. Those are the path that Drupal will use in the installation of the core. In the library folder, we are storing third-party libraries that we can require in our modules. In contrib modules, we are installing our third-party modules that are in the Drupal.org website. This is for the profile. We are not using profiles in this course. If you create a profile, you can set, for example, several contrib modules that can be installed, but it's fairly the same as creating a Composer.json with our modules. A Drupal profile sets certain configurations that can run during the install. For example, you can include custom modules, default themes, query scripts, pre-populated default content, lots of stuff. Then here is the Drush command. We are using Drush commands for create aliases and stuff. This will be next in the project. Then custom models is where we are adding our custom models. If, for example, we develop a model, we are adding it here. When you install, for example, a theme, Composer will know where to put the code of the theme. And that's it. We have nothing else to mention here. This is just to create a beautiful message in our console when it creates the project. The Composer.lock is a crucial part of Composer dependency management. The purpose of this Composer.lock is to log the exact version of dependencies that were installed in your project at a specific point of time. It ensures that every time you or someone else install dependencies for your project, the same version of packages are installed consistently. When you run, for example, Composer install, Composer then resolves the dependency tree, finding the compatible versions of all required packages and their dependencies. It is important to note that you should not manually modify the Composer.lock file. Instead, you manage dependencies by updating the Composer.json file. Then you should run the Composer install or Composer update. If these lessons are useful for you, please subscribe for more lessons. I have plenty of knowledge of Drupal 10 to share with you.